For customers that call with an issue where their baby cook is leaking, oftentimes what the issue is, most of the time anyway, is typically that there's an issue with the gasket. The only place that water can leak out of the machine is the bowl itself. It's not possible to leak out of any of the areas here. The reservoir is stored inside the machine, stainless steel, so it's always an issue with the bowl or problems with the blade assembly. Again, we're going to ask the customer if they're in front of the machine, and we're going to, what you need to do is to explain that there are a few things we're going to check. We're going to check the bowl, and we're going to check the blade assembly. So what you want to do is you want to ask them to remove the bowl. Again, remove the steam basket if they happen to have that inside. And first, what you're going to want to ask them to do is look at the bottom of the bowl. What you want them to check to see is if there's any cracks within the bowl itself. Sometimes, with extended use, dishwashing, what can happen is the bowl can crack, so it's always a good first place to start. So for this machine, there are no cracks in the base of the bowl, so we've ruled out that problem. Now the next thing that we want to check is the gasket. What the gasket is a small black rubber ring that's flared that sits between the blade and the base of the bowl itself, essentially creating the watertight seal. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to unlock the blade, again twisting in opposite directions, and what you want to do is check the blade itself, or have the customer check the blade. As you can see here, this gasket is installed correctly, the flared side pointed down, and the gasket itself is sitting flush against the blade. Sometimes there's customers where the gasket is pulled down, which again creates a gap between the gasket and the base of the bowl, which can create a problem. Now what you want to do is, if they see the gasket, to check all around the edge here for any kind of tears. Even a hairline tear can cause the bowl to leak. Most often than not, the gasket's missing, in which case you can send them a new gasket. If they have any tears or damages, sometimes, again, putting stuff inside the dishwasher can cause that to happen. We always recommend that you hand wash, all of your parts in warm soapy water. Now, if the gasket is there, another thing to check, and you can do this before we get to the gasket part, is to make sure that the locking nut is on the bowl correctly. This is the locking nut. It's the small plastic bolt that sits underneath the blade. Now, sometimes we'll have customers call in and they'll have the the locking nut screwed in like this. So you can see it's the flat side facing down. It does allow the blade to lock in place, but as you can see, it's very, very loose. So if they have the locking nut on the upside down, it will allow the blade to spin, but because it's loose, it's going to allow water to leak out. So again, you can probably do this before you check the gasket. You'll have to turn the bowl over, and you're going to ask them on the locking nut to make sure that it's not flat, that the side that they see when they lift the bowl at the base is not flat, and that you can see, very small, see right here, a capital T as in Tom, B as in boy. This is essentially the site of the locking nut they want to see. This is the proper assembly of the locking nut. You want to have your two edges out, and as you can see, nice snug fit. So oftentimes, again, with a leaking bowl, you want to first check for cracks. You can then check to see that the locking nut is installed correctly, and then next you want to check the rubber gasket for any rips or tears.